Now we will pay homage to the Buddha by reciting Namo Tassa 3 times. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Last week we have already explained some part of the perceptions of repulsiveness in nutriment, but I have to repeat all the things because connection is very poor last week. When we are going to talk about the perceptions of repulsiveness in nutriment, we have to introduce the 4 kinds of nutriment according to Buddha's teaching. We can find these 4 in many different suttas or many different Pali texts. The first one is the Gabalikara, physical nutriment. That is the nutriment we eat every day. So as we have already known, many different types of drink, many different types of foods we have to consume every day. These are called Gabalikara. Then Pasahara, the nutriment consisting of contact. So as we have already known in Buddha's teaching, Pasapacaya Vedana. So that means when we have contact, there will be different types of feeling. So that's why it's also nutriment for feeling. The third one is Manosanjetanahara, nutriment consisting of volition. So as we have already learned in Buddha's teaching, when we have volition, there's also kamma. So this kamma is also the nutriment for our life or existence. That's why we can say this is also called nutriment. So the last one is a vijnanahara, as we have already known the consciousness. So here we just use the nutriment consisting of consciousness. In Bali we call vijnanahara. So as we have already learned Vijnana-paccaya nama-rupa in Paticca-samuppada. So if there is a vijnana, especially in residing in consciousness, there will be nama-rupa. So these are also called nutriment. This is a brief introduction to 4 types of nutriment. We can also find many different suttas, or we can also find many different explanations of these nutriment according to suttas. Then we also have the simile of 4 types of nutriment. They mention 4 similes of nutriment. The first one is a Buddha Mansupama, the simile of the child's flesh. So that means this is the simile of the physical nutriment, the one we every day consume. So this is one of the simile. What does it mean, the simile of child flesh? In Buddha's teaching, now we have one simile mentioned there. There is a couple. They have only child. They were traveling a very long journey, and they were weary of journey. Then on the way, they don't have any food anymore. They cannot find any water. So they cannot eat and they cannot drink anything. Then the two, especially the couple, the husband and wife, discuss about how to survive on the way. Then they discuss, as long as we are young, we can have a child anytime. So now if we keep going like this, three of us will die on the way. So if we kill our son and eat the flesh and drink the blood, we can survive anyway. Then they agree. As a mother, she dare not kill her own son. Of course, they have only son. They will love it too much. Then the mother said, okay, just go to your father. He will say something to you. The father also loved her son too much. Then he dare not kill his own son. He also talked to the son, oh, just go to your mom. Just go to your mother. In this way, the father sent to the mother sent to the father. Finally, the child became exhausted, became very tired, and weak and fainted. Finally, he died. Then they have food and they have drink. They drink the blood, they eat the flesh. So since they are eating their own child, they're gonna feel happy whenever they eat. They all cry, both of them cry whenever they eat. Oh, we have killed our son. Now we are eating the meat of our son, the flesh of our son. Then whenever they drink, they remember, oh, we are drinking our son's blood. They're gonna feel happy. So in this way, they have to survive, they can survive. Then similarly now, in our daily life, we may eat the meat, so we may eat food every day. This is similar to our own child. So if we have this kind of intention, when we have this kind of recollection, we may feel repulsiveness of food. This is also really very important for the practitioners. Of course, it's not that easy, right, to feel repulsive when eating food in our daily life. Anyway, this is also really very important for us to have this kind of perceptions, the simile of our own child or child's flesh. Then 2, 𝐏𝐚𝐭𝐢𝐬𝐚𝐚, the simile of the headless cow. So this is similar to pasahara, the nutriment consistent of contact. So a cow has to survive by eating grass, moving here and there. So there's no skin in it. Whatever it enters, the bushes, the leaves, the branches, the thorns will touch its body. Since it does not have any skin in the body, it will be more painful than normal. So we have pasahara, the contact in our daily life. Then whenever we have contact, then we have to remember it's a headless calm. So we don't have any skin. We touch with very, very gross, rough material, such as branches, leaves, thorns, and so forth. When we can pay attention, or when we can recall it like this, we may have less attachment to the sensation, or touching sensation, or tangible object. Actually, when in the sense of phassa, it will be many different types of phassa. For example, eye contact, chaku saphassa, ear contact, nose contact, tongue contact, body contact, and mind contact. All these contacts make our mind feel good and bad. It can produce feeling. That's why it can feel us, it can make us good and bad. So when we have the perceptions of headless calm, then we can overcome the attachment to all the contacts and feeling. The other one is Ankara Kasupama, the simile of the pit of live coal. As we have seen a burning charcoal or a mess of charcoal burning, you can imagine there's no smoke, right? Just steam. Also, it's very, very hot. Even when you see it, it's very hot. There's one simile mentioned there. A man has many enemies. So one day he was arrested or captured by his enemies. He was brought to somewhere where they arrange the bit of live charcoal is burning. They are pushing him towards that bit of live charcoal. Of course, nobody wishes to go there. It's too terrible, too hot. We may not feel any comfort. Then this is a really simile of the nutriment of consisting of volition, the karma. So we have accumulated many different types of karma. All our karmas are sending us to the suffering. We have many different types of suffering in our life. Rebirth is also suffering, aging, sickness, death. So we are born together with these three, especially aging, sickness, death. Gradually, we are getting older and older. We may have sickness. Although we don't wish, we have to be old, we have to be sick, we have to be die. So it does not arise according to our wish. It just arises naturally. Whether we wish or we don't wish, we must accept it. Now, in the simile it mentioned, we are forced to go to a bit of live charcoal. It's burning, no smoke. As soon as we fall down into it, we will die. Similarly, if we have accumulated many good and bad karma, there will be new life, new existence. There will be new rebirths, aging, sickness, death. We are moving forward all these kinds of suffering, day after day. We are getting closer and closer to this kind of sufferings. This is called Ingara Kasupama. Then 4. Sati Satupama. Here I should analyze a little bit more. Sati is spear. Sata is 100. So 100 spears. The simile of 100 spears. So this is the simile for nutriments consisting of consciousness. So as we have already known in Paticcasamuppada, Vijnana Bhajya, Nama Rupa. Because of consciousness, all the mental factors and the materialities will arise. So briefly, in the simile mention, there is a man. He had offended many different things. He broke many criminal laws. Then authorized persons or responsible persons arrested him and kept him in somewhere. Then the king or maybe the minister or anybody will order his man, you must stab 100 times with a spear in his chest every day. In the morning, 100 stabs in his chest. In the afternoon, 100 times stab on his chest. Then in the evening, 100 stabs. He have to stab 100 times in his chest. So in the chest, every day, they have 300 times their stabs with the spears. Although they stabbed 100 times, he didn't pass away. This is the simile, right? In our real life, if somebody is tortured in this way, he will die. This is simile. That's why. Okay, in this simile, he didn't die. Okay, the main thing is when we have reverse, of course, every day and night, we have to suffer a lot. So day by day, every single second, we are getting older and older. Every single minute, we are getting older and older. Every single hours, every single day, we grow older and older. Similarly, we are getting closer and closer to the death. So we have to suffer every day, every night. So we are stabbed with spears 100 times every day. So here we can say 300 times every day. So this is the simile for the nutriment consisting of consciousness. So these are the simile and the explanations of nutriments according to Buddha's teaching. We can find in many sutras. Now when we are going to review the rebellious in nutriment, we can find there are 10 ways to review repulsiveness in nutriment. The first one is Kamana Do. So Kamana Do means as to go in. So as you have already known, when we have to go for Vrindapada, we have to prepare many different things. So before we leave our monastery, in Paotoya, we don't have to go to the village. Like in Selene, we have to go to the village. Before we are leaving the monastery, we have to prepare everything. For example, we have to clean our bowl, clean our compound, we have to clean our body, we have to wear full robe, and so forth. There are many things we have to prepare. After that, when we go to the village, on the way, we may stop on the repulsive things such as impure or unclean ground. So for example, sometimes on the ground there will be urine, excrement, many different things. Then unfortunately we may step on it. This also reverses. There can be some dead dogs, dead snakes. Also in power we can also find like a dead frog, dead insects, many different types of insects, many different types of animals on the way. Also, there can be very, very bad smell on the way. It depends on where we live. Anyway, the main thing is there are many impurity, many impure things on the way to the village. So we have to review all these types of things, impure things, in order that we may feel repulsive when we are eating food. Then 2. Purification acts to seeking. Of course, when we go for ants foods, not all the householder can offer food for us. Sometimes they haven't cooked their food yet. Sometimes although they are cooking, but they don't have sufficient food to offer us. There will be many different reasons. Then there are some people, they will reject to offer. They may say, Bandi, please pass our house. That means they don't have anything to offer, or they don't wish to offer. It depends on their mind. Then, not only that, we have to be patient with impure and unclean paths on the village. So there are very big crowds in the village. Then there will be different paths, different crowds. Then in every gathering there will be many, many rubbish. If they don't throw away the rubbish properly. Anyway, then there will be countdown, or maybe there can be the dog excrement, or countdown, or many other excrement on the way, on the broken path. In the village also we can step on it. We can also smell very bad things there. So we must be patient with all these impure and unclean paths, or we can also step on them. So let me, as to seeking, Bresnato, we also feel repulsive in the village. Then 3, Purification as to using. So when we are eating, first we have to choose the foods directly. After that, we have to swallow. We can see the foods on the bowl, on the cup, or on the plate. So before eating, all the foods will look nice, or good smell, or look delicious. Then after chewing inside our mouth, we cannot see anymore. The color will be different. Right? Then also, if we spit out, it's no more desirable. So when we swallow the foods together with saliva and all the things inside the mouth, whether we like or we dislike. Of course, we cannot see it, we may like it. Then when we are making mouthful, we have to use our hands, especially in powder, we just use our hands to eat. Sometimes we use spoon. Okay, now when we are going to use our hands, we have to mix up with the curry and rice, salad, it will smear our hands. So when seeing it, we can also feel repulsive. So this is also one of the way we can feel or we can reflect the repulsiveness of nutriment. Then 4, 𝐸𝐸𝐬𝐸𝐸𝐸 as to secretion. So after eating, the food will change to different colors. As we have a know, right? In the bowl, previous topic also have already said, in the bowl is a different color. After choosing different color, when we swallow up inside the stomach, then there will be different smell, different color. Then it will mix up with the blood or the pus, pine, phlegm. Then it will be different colors, different smells. Of course, all the smells are undesirable. It cannot be good smell anymore after mixing up with all these blood, pus, pines or phlegms or anything. So practically, when we vomit, we can know the smell of the foods. What does it look like? We can also see, right? Practically. So this is called 𝐸𝐸𝐬𝐸𝐸. This is change to different color, different smell, mixing up with many different things inside our body. Then 5, 𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸 as to receptacle. After eating, the food will be in the unwashed stomach. As we know, in our daily life, when we go to the shopping mall or to the market, there will be lunchbox, there will be special packets, right? Not like an instant noodle or instant rice or anything, instant porridge or anything. If the package is really very good or look very nice, we will like it, right? So it must be clean and properly packed. So now after eating, all the foods go to the stomach. If we are 10 years old, within 10 years, we don't wash our stomach. All the foods will go to this unwashed stomach. If we are 20 years old, within these 20 years, we don't wash. If we are 30 years old, 40 years old, or 50 years old, we don't wash our stomach. So every day, when we are eating with a cup or bowl, for example, for our monastery, we have to use the bowl, for example. We will go for Impita with the bowl. We eat in the bowl. Then, after eating, we have to wash thoroughly. If we don't wash, it will be very smelly. Not only that, after washing, we have to make it dry. If we don't dry and cover with the bowl cover, the next day it will be very, very terrible smell, very bad smell. So you can imagine unwashed stomach how smelly it will be. All the foods we eat will go into that unwashed stomach. It's not like a golden cup. It's not a silver cup. The stomach is not made of jewel or any valuable things. So if we can reflect like this, we may have repulsiveness of foods. Then 6, 𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸 as to what is it undigested. Then we have already known what will happen if our digestion is not that good. So if not very good digestions, for example, like so you may have constipation, but one maybe in your life, it will be very smelly, right? When you try to like a fox yourself taking medicine, if you have to go to the toilet, it will be very smelly because of long time keeping inside the body undigested. So before digesting, the smell and the appearance of food will be different. So you can imagine there can be different part of the body. For example, after newly eaten, it will be the stomach. Newly eaten foods, it will look like a package of food, right? Smashed foods. Or also smell also a little bit different. So the appearance also different. It depends on the place where it was kept. Then 7. Purification as to what is it digested. Okay, of course this one is very simple, right? After digestion, the smell and the appearance of foods will be different too. Then we can practically see it, right? So after digestion, it will go down a little bit. Then the shape will be different. Also, the smell will be totally different from before. So we have to see as repositories. Then the next one. That one is palato as to fruits. So what will be the fruit? What will be the results of eating? If digested, the food will smell full and also produce repulsive things in the body. For example, when we eat like a durian, right? Also very smelly durian. Our sweat also become smelly like a durian. So it's digested, but it go all over the body, including our sweat, our saliva, anything will become very smelly. It depends on what we eat. Then similarly, I think you may not have that kind of experience in your country. So mostly here in Pau, we also have like cow urine, fermented cow urine. Then for digestion, sometimes we also eat, we also drink. You know, when we have sweaty, all the sweat become smell of urine, cow urine. It's very, very obvious. So that means it will go to every body part. It will change to different smells as we have eaten. If undigested, it will cause skin disease, stomach ache, and so on. With just example. So if undigested, there will be many, many different sickness in the body. Right? Not only itchy in our body, there are many, many different things. It will be very problematic. So the main thing is, whether it's digested or undigested, it will produce repulsiveness. It will produce repulsive things. Where to see the food as repulsive? By reflecting all these foods or the results. 9. Misandato as to outflow. Of course, we know when we are eating, we will eat together with our friends, our family, or our beloved ones. Then when we are eating, we may have smiling face. But when we defecate, we must be in the private, no more smiling face. So when we are eating, it will be in the public. You can practically see, right? Many restaurants, there are many tables, many chairs, many people in the hall. We can see they are eating. But when they are going to defecate, they will hide in the toilet. Smell also different. Appearance also no more smiling. That's when this also has to outflow. Right? We can also imagine. Actually, there are many explanations about it in the text. It will be very long time explanation for it. Now 10 as to smearing. So when eating, the food smears hands, and we have to wash it. So if we don't wash, then it will be very smelly. Right? This also has to smear. So although the food look good or the food look nice, if we touch with our hands, sure it will be smelly. That is why this is also one of the reposits. So sometimes after mixing up all the food together inside our bowl, we have to check how's the conditions, right? Okay, the main thing is Samakanado. That means we have to check our hands after messing up. Also, we have to feel reposits when seeing it. So these are the 10 types of reflections about foods. We eat every day. Sometimes we eat with attachment. Sometimes we eat our foods with unpleasant feeling, displeasure, like a dosing. Sometimes we eat with worry, fear, terror. There will be many different feelings, many different emotions. The main thing is, if we feel reposits, we may have less attachment to the food. Mostly, when we can eat the food we like, we are happy. If we can recollect or reflect the repulsiveness of the foods, then we can feel free, more comfortable. We may have less attachment to the food. So that will be beneficial for the practitioners, but I don't think people will like this kind of practice, right? Mostly when they eat, they don't like talking about reverses. They just like pleasant things. So we have to accept the natural way of foods. If we know the natural way of the foods, it will be easier for us to reflect all these types of repulsiveness. Okay, now we have to continue talking about the 4 elements, defining elements. We can find this passage in Satipatthana Sutta. Again, because just as a skilled butcher or his apprentice, having killed a cow, will sit at crossroads, cutting it up into pieces. The monk contemplates this very body, however it stands, however it is disposed. In terms of element, in this body, there is the earth element, the water element, the fire element, the wind element. These are the statements we can find in Satipatthana Sutta. So one more thing here I have to introduce. The 4 element meditations is also one of the samatha subjects. It also can be the foundations of vipassana. Whenever the Buddha was going to teach pure vipassana vehicle, the Buddha will recommend the meditators to start with 4-element meditations in brief or in detail. So now we have to introduce the 4 elements in brief. Here I will choose the order of 4 elements. The next page, the next slide. The earth elements: hardness, roughness, heaviness. The opposite factor of these 3 is softness, smoothness, and lightness. So these 6 are the nature or the characteristics of earth element. Then again, water element: flowing and cohesion. So here we can also understand as a cohesion. That means it will spread all over the body. Flowing also can spread all over the body. Then it will combine together. Then 5 elements: heat and cold. Mostly we know heat as 5 elements. Very few people know cold is also 5 elements. In Buddha teaching, cold also can burn, heat also can burn. That's why this is called 5 elements. Then 1 element: supporting and then pushing. These are the elements. So when we are going to practice, mostly we just recommend from easier to difficult. We start with 1 element: supporting and then pushing. For example, when we breathe in, breathe out, our breath will go into our body, pushing. Also, our body will expand, and also shrink. That means the power of 1 element. So when we press our finger on the floor or on the ground, we can also feel pushing. That means whenever we touch, we can also feel pushing. Mostly we start with the pushing. If we can understand pushing clearly, we will start with hardness. So when we touch our teeth, we can feel hardness. Now we can understand hardness of teeth and also hard-line parts. It will be all over the body. As we can understand pushing all over the body. Then we can understand hardness clearly all over the body. We can start from pushing. Pushing and hardness, 2 characteristics, one after another. Now one more thing we have to remind: don't spend very long time for 1 element. If we spend very long time, the element becomes very excessive. We may feel discomfort. Especially we may feel stiffness or tension. Another one is that all the elements have to descend all over the body. Don't spend very long time in 1 body part. If we take very long time to descend 1 element in 1 body part, the body part will become very tight and very tense. That is why when we are going to practice 4 elements, it must be natural. Don't spend very long time. After a few seconds, move the next element. Okay, now pushing, hardness. After that, roughness. When we rough our teeth with our tongue, we can feel roughness. If we can feel roughness of our teeth, then we can also discern roughness all over the body. For example, when we rough our hands on our clothes, we can also feel roughness. People like a hair rising. When we can feel roughness all over the body, we can start from the very beginning, pushing, hardness, roughness, then heaviness. If we keep our body and head straight, push our hands, our palms on the knee, press a little bit, we can feel heaviness all over the body. Then, if we can discern heaviness clearly, we can discern from the very beginning, pushing, hardness, roughness, heaviness. After that, supporting. If we can keep our body straight, our backbones will support each other. So we can also discern supporting of all the joints in our backbones. Then there can be many supporting in our body. For example, lower body part will support our body parts not to fall down. If we can balance well, it's supporting. When we are moving, it's pushing. So we can discern supporting. After that, we can restart from the very beginning. Pushing, hardness, roughness, heaviness, supporting. After that, softness. If we press our inner lip with our tongue, we can feel softness. We can discern softness of the lips and all over the body, part by part. If we can discern softness all over the body, we can start from the very beginning, pushing, hardness, roughness, heaviness, supporting, softness. Then smoothness. If we rub our inner lip with our tongue, we can feel smoothness. We can discern smoothness of our lip and also all over the body, part by part. Then we can start from the very beginning, pushing, hardness, roughness, heaviness, supporting, softness, smoothness. Finally, lightness. Lightness is like when we lift our finger. Then we can also feel lightness. Again and again, when we lift, we can feel lightness. Finally, you may feel like floating or flying. If you can discern lightness very well, then you can start from the very beginning, pushing, hardness, roughness, heaviness, supporting, softness, smoothness, lightness. After that, easier one is a fire element, heat and cold. It's easier. If we grasp our hands, one hand will be always warm, another hand will be always cold. So we can discern heat from one of the hands and all over the body. We can also discern cold in one hand and also all over the body. Now we can start from the pushing to heat and cold. Then finally, flowing and cohesion. Of course, in the blood vessel, all the blood are flowing. For easier discernment, we can start with our saliva inside our mouth. This is flowing. If we swallow saliva, it's very clear, right? Flowing. Now we get this sound flowing all over the body, like a separator all over the body. Then, if we grasp our hands a little bit tight, we also feel cohesion. Now we get this cohesion of our hands and part by parts all over the body. Now we can start designing from the very beginning, pushing, hardness, roughness, heaviness, supporting, softness, smoothness, lightness, heat, cold, flowing, and cohesion. Altogether, 12 characteristics of 4 elements. These are easier order. After that, we have to follow the given order. If we can design very well, but within 1 minute, if we can design around 2 rounds, or a little bit more than 2 rounds, also okay. If it's too fast, the element will not be very clear. If it's too slow, there will be excessive elements in the body parts. That's why neither too slow, not too fast. We have to design. If we can design clearly, we can change the order as given order here. Hardness, roughness, heaviness, softness, smoothness, lightness, flowing, cohesion, heat, cold, supporting, and pushing. These are the first steps of designing 4 elements. Then we also have many other instructions. Okay, here I will introduce the 4 ways to develop the meditation. So the first one is Sasambhara Sankhepa, constituents in brief. Okay, so here images such as the earth elements and the head hair and so forth. Then 2, Sasambhara Vibhati, which constituents by analysis, initially designing the body part as mentioned in the Kaya capacity. We have already talked about 32 body parts. They are mentioned like a color, appearance, shape, location, delimitation, and so forth. For example, head hair, it will be black color, or dark color, or brown color. It depends on, right? Maybe the nature of people, our life. For example, like in Western country, they may have like a golden hair, right? In Asian country, mostly we just have black or dark hair. Appearance, okay, appearance like a thread, very easy, right? Shape also, right? Like a round shape, like a thread. Location on the head. Delimitation, of course, inside the skin, above the skin, and so forth. There are 32 body parts we have already mentioned. So we have to design all the 32 body parts. Right? So this is called Sasambhara Vibhati. Then Salakana Sankhepa, with characteristics in brief, such as earth elements in 22 body parts and so forth. So later we have to explain the 4 elements in detail. So when we talk about the 32 body parts, right? The first 20 body part is earth elements predominant. The second 12 body part is water elements predominant body parts. So in the same way, we can also understand, okay, for example, 20 body parts as earth elements predominant, then 12 body parts as water elements predominant. Then there are 6 body parts, 1 element predominant. Also, there are also 4 body parts, 5 elements predominant. We have to disarm all the things. Then the 4, Salakana Vibhati, with the characteristics by analysis, designing elements in 42 body parts, 1 by 1. Mostly we can find this kind of things in 𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸 For example, 32 body parts. Okay, head hair. We have to discern other elements predominant, right? But we also know there are many other materialities in the head hair. Okay, for now it will be very deep now, but later we have to explain the same things in Vibhav meditation. For example, in the head hair, there will be body translucency and body translucent klapas. Also, there will be such materiality, satake klapas. There are also life non-klapas, also Tirisa rupas, Puruja rupas, Harja rupas. All the rupas can be found in the hair. We have to discern all the materialities in the head hair in detail. Similarly, body hair and so forth, all the 32 body parts, one by one. After that, we have additional body parts. We have one element predominant body parts. There are 6 one element predominant. Also, there are also 4 5 elements predominant. We have to discern all these 42 body parts one by one. This is also called 4 elements in detail. So whenever the Buddha is going to teach Vipassana meditations for the new meditators, the Buddha recommended to start with 4 elements in brief or 4 elements in detail. Then we also have to introduce according to Visuddhimagga. There are 13 ways to develop 4 elements meditation. So the first one is Vajana Tato as to word meaning. This is actually a direct translation from Pali, right? Vajana means words or speech. Atta means meaning. So Batavi, they are earth elements because like a spread out. It was spread all over the body. Abo flows. Although it is like light or satisfying. This also can be considered. This is the meaning of abo. It depends on Bali, the classifications of Bali analysis. Ijor heat. We also say fire. While air or blows. Now, dhatu means bearing its natural characteristics, suffering, bringing suffering in samsara. So again, here we have to introduce the 4 elements. Actually, we have many different simile about 4 elements. It's also like a magician. The magician can use many different material, many different things. Also, they also cheat people with their skill. For example, like a paper can change to dollar, but it's actually cheating. Right? Anyway, like magician, it will show untrue as a truth. For example, 4 elements were formed as human being: man, woman, child, boy, girl. Similarly, it will be in the form of animals: cow, bull, calves. Also, it can be other animals such as sheep, goat, deer, gazette, many different types of animals. All are combinations of 4 elements. That's like a magician. It will change to many different shapes, many different forms, cheating people. This is called element. Okay? This is also called Vajana Tato. Then Kalapa buying groove. Actually, when we say kalapas, we can also understand as particles. So we have already mentioned many times in our practice, right? So one more thing here, kalapa means this combinations of many different things. Sometimes we also say like a cluster. Anyway, so this time of elements predominant gamma produce materialities in the head hair. and so forth. Okay, I have to introduce a little bit more. In the head hair, there will be karma produced materialities. For example, body translucency, sex materialities, life non-klapas. Then there will be earth element predominant, because this is the head hair. Similarly, mind produced materialities. When we have fear, hair rising, why is happening? This is mind produced materialities. Right? So this means there will be mind produced materialities in the head hair. This is also earth element predominant. Similarly, we can also discern temperature produced materialities, nutriment produced materialities. We can discern as a groove. Then again, to not draw fine particles. So here we mentioned that the amount of particles in the body. This body is made of one donor amount of earth element particles, held together by half a donor's amount of water element, maintained by fire element. So here it just mentioned the amount of earth element and water element. It doesn't mention the amount of fire element and wind element. Okay, briefly. So donor, that kind of measurement is a little bit difficult for Westerners, I think, and not only Westerners, and difficult for foreigners, especially non-listener here, because in Myanmar we know what means donor. We still have that kind of measurement in Myanmar, because this kind of tradition comes from India. Anyway, the donor. It's a little bit difficult to say how big it is, right? Maybe like a cup. When we are going to take a bath, we may use like a stainless steel cup or plastic cup, a little bit bigger size. Maybe around 4 times bigger than that is called one donor. You can also imagine, right? This amount of earth element predominant body parts. Another one is water elements predominant parts. So if there's no water elements, it will be separated. It cannot be one as a one. For example, this body, if there's no water elements, it will be totally smashed into the particles. Water elements can combine together, holding together. Then it's maintained by fire elements, sustained by wind element. So here I mentioned the amount of fire elements and wind elements particles cannot be counted because they are subtle or very light. We call the hookah. Very light or very subtle. But we cannot count. So fire elements, the water element, fire element, wind elements are founded in the earth element, held together by water element, maintained by fire element, sustained by wind element. So the earth elements forms man and woman and so on. Although I say man and woman, we can also imagine all other living beings or other non-living things. These are the forms of earth element. So 4 mentioned here, Lakanati Tor by characteristics and so forth. This is like a discerning characteristics, function, manifestations, rosary cause of elements. Okay, for example, earth element. Earth element, we have Kakala Lakana, harness the characteristics. Also, it will function as a foundations, Then also it can be followed like a standing of all other rupa kalapas as manifestation. Then 3 remaining elements can be the prosmic cause of earth element. Okay, the main thing is, okay, sorry, let me, okay, color is roughness, there's a characteristics, function is samrichana. Samrichana means acceptance. Then another one is foundations as a manifestation, other one is 4 elements. 3 other elements will be the prosmic cause. So in this way, we can discern 4 elements. Not only 4 elements, actually, we also have to discern all other materialities and their characteristics, function, manifestation, and prosmic cause. Then 5. Samutthana door, as to how originated. So discerning 42 body parts produced by karma, produced by mind, produced by temperature, produced by nutriment, separately. Okay, for example, head hair can be produced by karma, mind, temperature, and nutriment. Similarly, body hair can be produced by karma, mind, temperature, and nutriment. Then here, undigested foods, pus, urine. These body parts are produced by temperature. Only temperature produced. Then tear, saliva, snooze, and sweat are mind and temperature produced. For example, tear. It depends on the conditions. For example, like when we trying to peel onion, right? Then because of onions, smell of onions, then the tear will come out from our eyes. That is the temperature produced. Sometimes when we feel sad, we may cry, we may weep. At the time, tear arises. At the time, mind produces. Saliva. This is the mind produce. Also can be temperature produced. Snot and sweat. You can also understand the same. So digestive fire is a gamma produce. We have digestive heat. Digestive fire around the stomach. Then the digestive heat is produced by gamma. Then we digestive heat all over the body. This is produced by gamma. For example, in the eyes we have digestive heat. That's why when we apply iron drop, that's digestive fire can absorb. So in any body parts, we have digestive fire is produced by gamma. Then the in and out breath is mind produced. As we have already known, when we are unconscious, our breathing system is changing, right? Not breathing all the time. A few minutes stop breathing, few minutes maybe breathing like that. It's changing. Anyway, the main thing is our breathing system will change according to our mind states. You may experience sometimes when you are too much exciting, your breathing becomes very fast. Heart beating also becomes very strong, very fast. It can happen like this. Okay, the main thing is that mind produce. So we have to analyze all the 42 body parts group by group. For example, these are gamma produce, these are temperature produce, these are mind produce, these are nutriment produce, and so forth. Then 6. Nanadika door. Nanadikata door. Yeah, we can analyze Nanada Ekata door. Okay? Nanada Ekata door means Nanada Ekata door. as do variety and unity. The four elements have different characteristics, function, manifestation, and producing cause, according to the body parts. There will be different forms, different appearance, but they have the same nature of impermanence, decay, and so forth. For your clear understanding, they all are anicca, dukkha, anatta. So now you can understand anicca, dukkha is not that easy to understand. Right? After understanding four elements thoroughly, after seeing the particles, also every element, every materialities in the small particles, then if we can see all the things clearly, then we can also have the perceptions of anatta very clearly. They arise in impression very rapidly. We can also know anicca. So anicca, dukkha, anatta is not that easy to understand with inside knowledge. So that means although we have a different characteristics, function, manifestation, but they have the same nature of impermanence, suffering, non-self, and so forth. 1.7. Vinibhoga, do. Here we can understand two different things, vinibhoga and avinibhoga. As to resolution, we can also say separability, and also as to non-resolution, we can say inseparability. So here we say the four elements are inseparable, even in the smallest particles. But they have different characteristics, function, manifestation, cosmic causes. Then not only that, in every single particle, even smallest particles, not only four elements, there will be the color, the smell, the taste or the flavor, the nutritive essence. These 8 are inseparable. We cannot separate even in smallest particles. This is called vinibhoga. So according to horizon in the small particles, they are inseparable, but they have different characteristics, function, manifestation. This is also separable. Then 8. Sabhaga visabhaga, as to the similar and dissimilar. So earth elements and water elements are similar in heaviness. The fire elements and wind elements are similar in the lightness. So the first two are dissimilar to the second two, the last two. Then they have different groove. So we have to differentiate like that. The 9. Ajatika Bhaira Visisato, as to distinction between internal and external. So here the four elements have four producing causes internally, but they are externally produced by temperature. So for example, the trees, plants, or any other natural non-living things, they are produced by temperature. Then 10. Sanghato, as to inclusion. Earth elements in the eye, earth elements in the ear, etc. are produced by gamma. They are in the different particles, but the same producing causes. So we have to understand this is called Sangha. Then 11, Pachayato, as to condition. The earth element is foundations of 3 other elements. The water element held together, okay, we say hold together, right? Then the fire element maintains it. The one element distance it. The maintain must be with simple present. So these are the conditions. They give different conditions in one kalapas, one particles. So in every particles, the earth element will be the foundations. Water element will hold all the elements together. Not only elements, all the materiality together. The fire elements will maintain it before anti is passing away, the last moment. Then the one element distance it. So these are called condition. Then 12, Asamanahara do, as to lack of conscious reaction. So the earth element does not know what that I am in the earth element and the foundations of other elements. Similarly, the rest of 3 elements does not know what they are doing. For example, water element didn't know that it is holding all elements together. Fire element didn't know it maintained all elements together. The wind element didn't know that it distanced all elements together. So they didn't know what they are doing. That's what this is called Asamanahara do. Then Pachaya Vibhaga do, as to analysis of conditions. The 4 elements have different producing causes. I have said many times in this Dhamma talk, right? If they are produced by karma, the 3 remaining causes cannot produce them. For example, iron translucent sea is produced by karma. It cannot be produced by mind, temperature, and nutriment. Then, similarly, as we have already learned, right? Undigested food is temperature materiality. It cannot be produced by karma, mind, or nutriment. So they may have different producing causes. Actually, they can be powerful dependents, Upanisaya. For example, karma produce, right? Iron elements is a karma produce. But if we don't have good nutriment, if we don't protect for the good nutriment, then our eyesight cannot be that good. Similarly, temperature. Now it's very hot in morning. Sometimes my eyesight become very poor. My eyesight is not that poor because of heat, too much hot. Then it's too bright. Whenever we see, eyes is not that much comfortable. Weather, produced by weather. Anyway, so that means, although it's not produced by mind, or for example, iron translucency is not produced by mind, temperature, and nutriment, but these are Upanisaya, or food dependent. Actually, we can practice Patana conditions later, right? We have to explain Patana condition later. So these are the 4-element discernment. So the way we have to approach 4-element discernment, it will be a very heavy topic for you, right? I also understand. Anyway, so as I have introduced the 4 elements in the very beginning, whenever the Buddha is going to teach Vipassana vehicle practitioners, Buddha will start with one of the 4-element methods, in brief or in detail. So I have already said detail method means 42 body parts. If we can discern the elements in 42 body parts, this means detail method. It will be very deep and profound for new learners here. But anyway, it will be useful for your practice in the future. Okay, so one more thing here I have to introduce about Lady Cheryl's explanation about Vijaya Charana seeds. Many times people ask me, how can we know that we have perfections, we have parami? Then they also ask me some questions. How can we fulfill parami in order that we may attain headship in the near future, in future life? Now, I can say you may need only 2 different things. One is Vijaya seeds, another one is Charana seeds. Charana seeds mean contact. Vijaya seeds mean knowledge. In brief, we can understand knowledge and contact. These 2 are paramis for ordinary disciples. So for about contact, Charana seeds, we may observe precepts, we may establish concentrations. All the wholesome deeds can be considered as Charana, contact. But for about Vijaya seeds, knowledge is not that easy. Vipassana can be divided into 2 different groups. If we practice Vipassana to attain Nibbana, it is Vijaya seeds, the knowledge. If we practice Vipassana for popularity or maybe for gain or something, it will be Charana seed, contact. So now the 4 elements is the foundations of Vipassana. Lady Cheryl said, in the sense of Charana seeds, the Vijaya seeds, the knowledge seeds, the 4 elements is strong enough to be parami. So that's why when we are going to fulfill parami, we should try at least 4 elements in our life. It doesn't mean 4 elements easy. 4 elements are really very difficult, more difficult than anapanasati. It's really, really very difficult. We must be wise enough to discern 4 elements. If we don't know the elements naturally, if we don't know how to be natural, we will feel stiffness, tension, discomfort, heat, vibrations. There will be many different disturbances. If we know how to be natural, we can practice freely, comfortably, easily. That's why we must be skillful in meditation when we are going to practice 4 elements. Okay, now, as a conclusion, the Buddha teachings are very deep and profound. Those who have very strong wisdom, those who have very strong intellectual power, intellectual quality, can experience the Buddha's teaching. It's not for thinking, not for thinker, not for imaginary. By imagination, we cannot improve the meditation. It's really practical. Okay? So practical practice is more important than the knowledge. Sometimes, although we are knowledgeable, if we don't practice, our knowledge are useless. So may you all be able to practice the Buddha teaching, and also may you all be able to realize the final cessation and not suffering.
Question
Okay.
1. Dear 𝐸𝐸𝐸 explained about the failures of Upasaka during last talk, about the lack of faith in karma ownership. If a person has not discerned the dependent origination yet, his faith on the cause and effect may not deep and strong. His belief on the law of karma may be superficial only. Does this also constitute as saddha?
Okay, in the case of saddha, sometimes although we cannot discern different originations, then we can also believe, right? Although not so strong like practitioners, there can be saddha, or like a determining faith. We determine it can be like this, determine this is possible, right? Next one.
Question 2 about the performing and indulging in rites and ritual. What is the extent of indulgence in order to be considered as failure of upasaka? For example, some yogis may participate in rites and rituals of other Buddhist traditions or other religions as volunteer. They will help to prepare many offering items like flower, cakes, etc. for the rites and ritual, or they may serve as usher for the events, etc. They do not perform the rites and ritual ceremony themselves. Are these participation also considered as performing and indulging in rites and rituals?
Okay, so as long as it's a wholesome karma, for example, you are going to flower to the Buddha, you prepare for them, right? In this case, we cannot say this is a rite and ritual. This is a wholesome karma, wholesome deeds. Okay, in the case of the rite and ritual, I have to introduce something about blessing, Mangala Sutta. They are mentioned, for example, like good omens or bad omens, lucky numbers or unlucky numbers, this kind of things can be considered rite and ritual. This is the one thing, right? Another one is, for example, like seeing, there we say we call Dita Mangala. When seeing something, this is blessing. This is called like lucky omens. Something like hearing. On hearing, they say, this is a lucky omen. Similarly, smelling, tasting, touching, this is a lucky omen. When you have this kind of belief, this is called rite and ritual. Okay?
Okay. Question part 3 about performing good deeds for other religion or non-Buddhist, looking for the receiver of donation for other religion. Will 𝐸𝐸𝐸 please explain about this point again with example? Sadhu.
Okay, here, okay, unfortunately, this day I have to, rush hour, I have to give Dhamma talk very, very, very rush. Anyway, that's why I cannot explain very much in detail. Okay, now, or donation, right? Okay, that means, for example, you have to offer something. What kind of receiver come back in your mind? Then, if like a non-Buddhist receiver come in your mind, that means this is choosing the wrong person, right? When we represent good deeds for other religion, we can say like that. Because sometimes there will be some exceptions. The non-Buddhist believer, like poor people, like a beggar, for example, or they are non-Buddhist, they are beggar. Then you have compassion, then you offer. This is an exception. Okay, but the people have a lot of food, but you also haven't inclined, or you haven't set bodily or bodily to offer to Sangha or to offer to any bhikkhu. Then you offer a beggar, non-Buddhist beggar. In this case, it doesn't matter. There will be exception. Okay.
Okay, thank you, 𝐸𝐸𝐸. Question 2, dear 𝐸𝐸𝐸, last session, 𝐸𝐸𝐸 explained about yoga sampati. In part 𝐸𝐸𝐸 book, The Way of Practice Leading to Nibbana, there it mentioned about some demeritorious unwholesome action done in the past do not give bad effects when A person is born in good desirable existence, gati. B, when these are hindered by perfect personality, upadhi, attained by a person. C, when hindered by an era of prosperity, kala. D, when these are hindered by having proper diligence, payoga. Would Sayadaw please explain about the meaning of these 4 points with some examples?
Okay. Okay, now I will say unwholesome, right? Okay, for example, a thief. A thief will be born as a human being, right? With a desirable existence. Then handsome and beautiful thief and ugly thief, different favor. Somebody will change the effect, right? So although their past karma is it, right? Unwholesome karma has done in the past, then in this very life, because of appearance, it will be different effect. Then similarly, another one is, here we say, kala, right? Yoga sambati. Okay, now we can just go to COVID-19 pandemic. Right? Other than we can say it's a kala vipatti, you know. You cannot earn money properly, or you cannot walk everything, you cannot walk everything easily. This is called kala vipatti. Then in the kala vipatti, of course, your unwholesome karma will give very heavy results at the time. But now you have a kala sambati. You can earn normally. Your past unwholesome actions cannot give results as before. Another one is a payoga. Okay, the last one, payoga means practice. Okay, this is not my story. I had to introduce one story. This is by your Sayadaw. He mentioned the story of two friends. One of the friends is a really very good person, good and kind person. Another one is a really very bad person. Although they have different character, different nature, but they can live together. One day, a good man fall down on the way, injured in his knee, a little bit injured in his knee. He can still walk. Then the next friend, bad one, can get a golden coin. Then karma is unfair, right? Good person might have golden coin. Bad person might fall down. Why? It becomes opposite. And they approach their master, an ascetic, who could reach their past. When they ask, why is happening like this? Karma is unfair. Their master, reading their past, and reveal why it's happening. Talks to the dead man. Your karma in the past is really very good. According to your past karma, you can get a pot of golden coin. A pot, you can imagine a pot, right? A pot of golden coin. But this life, you have done very, very bad karma, many, many bad things. That's why you have got only golden coin. So, payoga sambati. Another one, good man. Your past karma is really very bad. According to your past karma, you must die on the spot when you fall down. Because you have very good karma in this very life. That's why you just injure very a little bit. Only minor injury. This is called payoga sambati. Okay? So, I think this understand, right? Okay, next one.
Third question, dear Sayadaw mentioned that some animal skin can use by bhikkhu and some cannot. For example, cow is forbidden, but sheepskin is okay. May I know what is the rationale or why is there a difference between this?
It depends on what happened at the time of the Buddha. One day a bhikkhu visited a house. He just go for Bindapata. Then he saw a calf, small calves. Then Buddha kept the skin of the calf. Then the donor said, "Oh, actually he just gazed at the small calf." Then the owner of the calf asked him, "Bandi, why you are gazing at that small calf? Yeah, this small calf look very nice. If I can use the skin of that calf as a certain cloth, then it will be very, very good. I have this kind of mind, that's why I just gaze at the calf, the donor, without any consideration. Just kill the calf and tear the skin and offer. But the cow, the mother cow, follow the bhikkhu, to the monastery. That's when the Buddha laid down the rules. You must not use cow skin as certain clothes. Okay, this is the one thing. For our sheep and that kind of thing, case does not happen. This is one thing. Like for example, I have already said about the tiger or like a lion. I have already said, right, these are dangerous animals, right? I have already said that one. That's why they are not allowed. Like a dog. If you eat dog meat, dog will bark at you more. Dog will hate you more because they know the smell. Anyway, now dog skin is not allowed, right? Okay, it depends on the conditions we have. The Buddha laid down the rules. Okay, next one.
Thank you, Sayadaw. Question 4. Dear Sayadaw, what is the difference between Kappiya and Dayaka?
Okay. This one can be only in a more traditional way, maybe, right? Dayaka is just donor. Kappiya means the one who make the properties allowable. This is called allowable maker, right? We can say this. This is called Kappiya. So then the Kappiya must be expert in Vinaya. But Dayaka, although he does not expert in Vinaya, it doesn't matter, right? You can offer anything. But Kappiya will make it allowable. Okay?
Okay. Question 5. Dear Sayadaw, when a yogi ordained as a bhikkhu, he needs to relinquish all his properties at that time. If he disrobed, can he ask his Kappiya to return all the property he had relinquished? If he had already relinquished his property during the ordination, there was intention. Does that mean by karma, those properties already not belong to him, even though legally the properties may be under his name? If he asks his Kappiya to return the property, is it considered as dishonest to the Buddha and Sangha during ordination?
Okay. It depends on law also, right? Okay, that's what I experienced in Paodoya. A few years ago, the one Samira from US was to ordain as a bhikkhu. I asked him to relinquish his bank account or anything. Then his brother is a lawyer. But he discovers his brother. Then his brother arranged everything properly. That means as long as he was ordained, all his belonging, all his properties belong to his mother and brother. We have this kind of paperwork, right? After that, he was ordained. Then another bhikkhu complained, oh, he has bank account. He didn't relinquish properly. Then another bhikkhu complained, then both of them come to see me. I asked what happened, and they explained all the conditions. Actually, he just, as long as he was ordained, it belonged to his brother and his mother. When he disrobed, it will belong to him again. It's not fully relinquished. This is a bhikkhu, one bhikkhu complaint, right? Then the owner say, when I was ordained about 1 year, for example, he was ordained 1 year or 2 years, something like that. Within 1 month, if they found all his belonging, they could not do anything, right? So it depends on the law of the country. If you are law alone, If the law allows you, then you can do it. You can get it. If the law does not allow you, I think it's not really, as you say, it's dishonest, right?
Thank you, Sador. Question 6. Dear Sador, does a seller need to give up all her bank accounts and government provident funds, retirement savings with the government? If, according to the government rulings, she cannot close the bank account related to these provident funds or any government-related funds, is there any other way that can be done according to the Vinaya?
Actually, it depends on the law. I'm not expert in the law. That's why I'm gonna answer this question, right? So if the law does not allow you, you're gonna do anything. It depends on the country you live, right? Okay. Next one.
Question 7, dear Sador, we refer to previous discussion about Sekiya rule number 7 and 8. Sador mentioned to keep eye lower at 8 cubit distance. As per the picture below, 8 cubits will be approximately equal to 8 feet. We did a test for a short person to look 8 feet ahead. It is impossible to keep the eye downcast. The eye will be quite open in order to look at 8 feet distance. For such situation, can we adjust the distance according to the person height?
Okay. Actually, in this case, there will be many exceptions. For example, like in Singapore, everywhere you have a car, many vehicles. If you just go down, because you're gonna know your danger, right? So it depends on the situation. If there's something risky or something dangerous, we can look far. It doesn't matter. Okay. So it could be sure. It depends on our height. It was different. Okay, here I mentioned. How can we call this one? Right? Like a yoke. Yoke means you may have seen the bullock carts, and there's a yoke on the top, right? The lamp or yoke, maybe the lamp or a car, maybe, right? Now it's the lamp or a small car, the van car, maybe. This can be considered as two times, maybe, right? Okay, the main thing is that it's not fixed, okay? It depends on the situation, it will be changeable, okay?
Okay. Question 8. Dear Sador, Samatitikam Pindapatam Patigahe Samiti Sika Karaniya. I will receive arms foot level with the edge of the bow, a training to be observed. Refer to Sekiya rule number 30. Could Sador please explain about the Ukata, Majima, and Omaka bow in regards to this rule?
It will be very heavy topic. Now today, all answers are very heavy, very long answer. Okay. Then you may have seen a coconut shell. Okay, coconut shell is equal to 2 hand. Can I do that like this? Equal to this side, right? Coconut shell. So 3 times bigger than coconut shell is the smallest. Okay, the smallest bowl is allowable. The smaller than that is no more allowable. So another one is it will be very messy, I think, right? It will be very messy. Okay, if you just know smaller ones, okay, right? I managed to explain. Okay, later the next one.
Question 9, dear Sador, about Dvihetuka and Ahetuka Pugala. They are clearly cannot attain jhana magapala. But some bhikkhus say they can't have even light of wisdom and nimitta because the bhavanga is weak and unable to support the arising of strong enough wisdom to produce light. Some say they can have nimitta and can do vipassana, but can't attain jhana. Which one is the right one? Is there any Pali reference we can read? Thank you, Sayadaw.
Okay, so all our Pali reference, we're gonna find very clear saying, right? Okay, one more thing. In Srivdhana Sutta commentary, they are mentioned a parrot practice Skalita meditation. Skalita meditation. So he just recite in the very beginning. Okay, the parrot is Ahituka. In the very beginning, he was taught to recite 32 body parts. Then, when he was ruled by an ego, he would just recollect skeleton. One skeleton is carrying another skeleton. It will throw away anywhere. Right? He had this kind of perception. So that is why, although the Ahituka cannot practice vipassana, but they can practice some part of samatha, maybe they can see the nimitta. I'm not sure about Ahituka, right? What about Drihituka? Is it possible to see the nimitta? They cannot attain jhana, they cannot attain path and fruition knowledge. Okay?
Thank you, Sayadaw. Question 10.
尊敬的夏多，顶
本达
礼。
密西亚多
要是禅修时扫描全
during
身后，来看到身体经营
these four element meditations, when he try to scan the body, he can see the body is translucent and like a diamond, but he has not practiced four element before. He has not practiced the 12 characteristics of the four elements. Then in this case, does he still have upachara samadhi?
Okay, so it depends on perception, right? What about the translucent body? It depends on perception, you can see it. Upachara samadhi does not come from translucent body or anything. Upachara samadhi comes from the quality of concentration. When you can absorb your mind on the element, you can take as a concentration, upachara samadhi, right? Okay.
Question 11. Dear Sayadaw, if a person kills his mother or father under influences, for example, by drugs or alcohol, that he doesn't know that is the parents, can he be reborn in 𝐕𝐤𝐬𝐻 hell?
Of course, it can be reborn in 𝐕𝐤𝐬𝐻. No or non-no this is not really a big problem. The main is a killer. Right? Okay.
We may have one more question. I think someone is still typing the question on slide. Yes. So question 12. Vandami Sayadaw, about the dhatu, it say as bringing suffering. It can be applied to earth, water, fire, wind element. But how if we say nibbana dhatu?
Okay. So one more thing. Definition is a definition, right? Definition is a definition. Sometimes name is a name. You have to understand. For example, like we may name ourselves like Arhat. It doesn't mean we become Arhat, right? So some name and dhatu, this is just name as a dhatu, right? This is only just name concept. So for about bringing suffering, okay, for example, if water element is excessive, it will bring suffering. If earth element becomes excessive, it will bring suffering. It's very, very clear. Nibbana, no excessive, it does not bring suffering. Okay? We cannot say Nibbana is a suffering. Okay?
Okay. Thank you, Sayadaw. Seems that this is the last question. So, okay, one more question up here. Dear Sayadaw, I can understand the Puttamam Supama to develop repulsivity towards food. But how to understand Niccama Gawupama toward Pasa? May Sayadaw enlighten us.
Okay. Nijama means no skin, right? Let me, okay, you can imagine we touch our skin. Pasa, you know, this is the simile of pasa. Pasa means contact. We don't have skin. If we touch, whenever we touch, we feel pain. Whatever thing we touch with, we will feel pain. Similarly, whenever we feel something, when eye contact, ear contact, whatever we feel pleasant, unpleasant, we have to remember, Nijama, we are touching, right? Eyeless cow, right? Like when we have normal skin that touching with many cross things with our body. If we can understand like this, then we can also say this is it. The reverseness of contact. That means although we touch very pleasant things, we may not feel happy. No more attachment. Although we touch very gross things, we may not get angry, right? We just think as undesirable. Reverses. Yeah, in this case, instead of talking about reverses, we should talk about, right, undesirable. Okay, next one. One more question, I think.
Yes. Question 14, dear Salvador. I also can understand the Angara Kasupama toward intention, but how to understand the Sati Satupama toward the repulsivity of consciousness?
Okay. So in this case, we have to talk about the revolving consciousness. Then Vijnanapajaya Namarupa. We've got this relationship, we have this kind of simile. So, okay, briefly, whenever there's a revolving consciousness, there will be Namarupa. So in Namarupa, every day we have to suffer, right? Let me aging, sickness, death, every day, every second, every minute. Just mention 100 times in the morning, 100 times in the evening and afternoon, 100 times in the evening, step with the spheres in the chest. So that means every day we are feeling constant. If we have life, as long as we have life, we have to suffer like this. So we can understand the suffering of the life caused by revolving consciousness. Vijnanapajaya Namarupa. Okay? Idavataja amehi sambadam bunya sambaram sabbe deva numodandu sabbe buddha numodandu sabbe satta numodandu sabba sambati siriya idam me nyatinam hodu sukhita hondu nyadayo idam me nyatinam hodu Sukhita hondu nyadayo, idam me nyadinam hodu. Sukhita hondu nyadayo, idam me bunyam asavakaya waham hodu. Idam me bunyam nibanasa bhajayo hodu. Mama bunya bhagam sabbasadanam bhajami te sabbe me samam. Punya Bhagam Lavandu Sadhu Sadhu Sadhu.